I grew up in Johnston and graduated from Johnston, loved school.
My childhood was actually a really, really good childhood.
I grew up in Mexico. I really like my life there.
I grew up with my great-grandma. She had me since I've been 4 years old.
I wouldn't say I had a hard life. My mom was a social worker, my dad was a construction worker, but they got divorced very early on, and so it was just my mom raising me and my two brothers.
They loved us tremendously, but they weren't the type that like say I love you, or it was more old school. Like they was both born in the 20s, so they went through the real depression.
I graduated and I was fine, and then like that summer it was just like down the slope. I met a guy, of course, that's always how it happens, right? And him and his friends weren't the best. I got started on drugs. I moved down to my mom's house, moved in with him.
I started using drugs when I was about 12 years old, started drinking. It really wasn't much of a problem until I got about 16. So I got into some trouble with the law. I quit going to school.
I came here 11 years, 7 months ago. I get married, Mexican American. He filled out papers for me. At that time, I don't have any family. I was pregnant for my first son. So it was everything new for me because it was the first time in the United States, different culture, language, no family, just my ex-husband family. I was living here for 6 years, 7 years before my separation.
My first time I experienced homelessness is at the age of 17. I didn't have my kids with me at the time. I was basically still going through a lot of stuff with my mom. And like my great-grandma, she started getting sick.
My mom gave me an ultimatum.
So my dad said, well, that's not going to work, buddy. So basically, he put me in the service. He said, you're either going to go to school or you can go into service. So I didn't want to go to school, so I figured, well, I'll go to service. So at age 17, 10 days after I turned 17, I went in the Navy.
I get separation from ex-husband and back to Mexico for a couple months because I need, moral support. I feel terrible in that time, and I have only the kids. So I have a couple friends, yes, but it's not the same like the family.
Well, my mom at the time, she did not want me. She was having trouble with her own life because, I helped her plenty of times when she was getting hit on, abused, and stuff like that, and she kept going back. So I can't just make her listen to me. I'm like a kid myself, so it's okay, well, I don't know what to do at the point.
She was like, I'll give you an ultimatum. If you don't go get yourself, help, then I'm not gonna help you with the baby. I was there for a full year, so I was there 6 months after my daughter was born too, and I really got the time to figure out what was right and what was wrong. I appreciated what they did for me. Actually, I started using again because, I don't want to say it was because of my self-confidence, but I was depressed. Even though they say you gotta focus on yourself, I think my daughter was the main reason that I figured out, hey, this isn't good. I remember looking at her sometimes and just being like, why did I ever do that? What was I thinking? Once I heard back from Anawim, I started getting my act back together and realizing that I was really special and that not everybody gets this chance, and just started working on me again.
Housing in and of itself is a therapy. That concept of the housing first. So taking people exactly where they are, but then being able to, really structure around folks what the supports they need to stay housed. At the time, Amy was employed, but she was really underemployed, and I could tell that she had a lot more going on. And then the opportunity to do the Going Places Network came up. And I've had, a lot of really great success with the work that they do there, building confidence, working on resumes. And, what came out of that was an opportunity for her to have this job interview. She really took it from there and got working right away.
I got connected to the Going Places Network, is that, yeah, and what is it, Dress for Success, and they introduced me to a interviewer or recruiter for Wells Fargo, and she said she was so impressed with me, she wanted me to come in and do a phone interview and do an actual interview, and I got hired right on the spot there. I had been working at Wells Fargo, and my rent ended up getting raised, and my daycare assistants actually got pulled completely. I had gotten my food stamps, most of my food stamps pulled. I was getting like $17 a month. And I was just stressed out, needless to say.
And there was a time where she said, I think I'd be better off just quitting my job. And that was early on. And we, I said, no, let's just stick with this. I think you're gonna get through it.
Yeah, I actually had a tumor right here. Had to cut my head from here to here, and completely. And I had to take around 8 weeks off work too for it. Yeah, the expenses of the surgery luckily were covered by my insurance.
At that point, because we had that relationship already established, I could coach her through the struggles. We could do some things in terms of decreasing the amount of rent that she was paying temporarily while she paid these extra amounts. And then, when she got through that, she was stable and had, was just in a really good place.
And miracles upon miracles, I don't know how I did it. I did get through the service, 4 years of the service. When I got out of the service in 1980, I got married. But about 7 months after I got married, then I went to prison the first time. So my wife had my baby when I was in prison. She was 5 months pregnant the first time I went to prison. But when I got out, I was still messing up. So she basically had enough, which I can't blame her, now that I look back at it. So we broke up and got separated, then we got divorced. So I basically hit the road at 26. And since the age of 26, I've basically been in missions or on the street or some form of that. So I got tired of that, so I came back here, and that's where I met Jan.
Jeff was staying in the emergency shelter downstairs. I was the veterans case manager at the time, so just kind of worked with all the veterans. And he was pretty willing to try that. He said he liked the structure. They're given an apartment, but they're asked to stay clean and sober. He came down, he did what he needed to do.
I remember Jeff meeting him for the first time, and he was so quiet. He barely made eye contact with me. And
So when Jeff first came in, it took a while for us to learn his name because he was quiet and he wasn't, one of those that was out causing trouble all the time. And so we called him Hair Guy for a while.
I don't really even remember the point that it really felt like he came out of his shell, but he must have just kind of started coming down to the food pantry more, and he would eventually open up and talk a little bit.
Now this place here is wonderful, sis. This is the most beautiful place I ever saw. I'm not used to kindness. I'm not used to help, and it's hard for me to accept it sometimes. So.
Because it seemed like when he got his hair cut is kind of when he came out of his shell, and it was very apparent, like, that he was, he was gonna make it. We love having him here. I think when he does move on, we'll all be sad about it.
This place has been a tremendous help for me. I got into volunteering. I was getting kind of bored sitting upstairs, and that's one of my weak spots, get bored.
Then Jeff offered to help out, and I was like, all right, sure, we'll see how it goes. And he's been really phenomenal doing that. I mean, he is always willing to help out whenever. We don't even have to ask. He's always just kind of the first one there to receive donations coming in.
I saw this need that, to help out around here a little.
When he moved down to the second floor, that's when he decided he wanted a dog. And she has been a part of his transition, I'd say.
No, she's really good at, she's very friendly people person. She's a people person, or a people dog. So, no, I don't think it's caused any trouble for her. It's been a big help to me. It's been a big help. Helps with my depression, or if I get down or whatever, I just talk to her.
Every day, every one of us in the back offices, we wait for Jeff to come through with Rogue, and he kind of has a little bit more clearance than our other clients do because he gets to be back here by himself, whereas other clients have to be with staff members. And so we do trust him. He does have that responsibility, and there is a definite level of trust that he has with the staff here.
I feel terrible in that time, and I have only the kids. So I'm back to Mexico a couple months and feel better, stronger. I'm start working in Mexico for the time I was living there. So I feel like when I was working or when I was living in Mexico years ago, I feel like, oh, okay, feel better. My family, my friends, everyone there. So I'm going to California with my brother for only 3 months, no more than 3 months. I fill out papers for child assistance and everything because I want to, working and start over again. And that was the first warning. The second warning, the manager told my brother, okay, she had to looking for, her apartment, or everybody had to get out. So my brother, he paid me for 3 days in hotel, the motel, my kids and me. And the shelter, I remember the shelter was from the park, and I told the lady, I said, you see that park? She said, you can help me, you don't want to help me, or something like that. So I want to sleep with the kids in that park. So I was in that shelter for 2 nights. I called my dad in Mexico, and I said, I think you had to borrow money from the bank because I had to go back to Iowa. That started my life changes because 1 week later I started working. I had a child assistant, all the benefits, the public benefits if I qualify or something. So, but the better thing is start working. I start working again in the same company I was working before I'm back to Mexico.
With Rocio, when she came in 2011, she came into the program and she applied, we did the interview, and then we placed her in the program. And from there, she started going too fast. Rocio, that's what she has. One of the things that she does, you tell her, I would like for you to do this, and next day she has the paper ready.
So, and start saving money and everything, and I fill out papers for home connection, and I get the home. So, and after home connection, everything changes. I have doors opens for me all the time, and my social working, he really helped me because I don't know a lot. I fill out papers for Habitat House, and I don't qualify because I had to wait a year for my bankruptcy. So 1 year later, I try again, I qualify, start working in my sweat equity.
Well, when I started working with Rocio, she had already been accepted in the program when I started in my position. So she was just starting in the program and I was just starting in my position, and so she was one of the first families that I ever worked with. And that partnership, Rocio talked about the sweat equity hours. So that's a big piece of the partnership where families complete 300 to 400 hours of volunteer hours as kind of a form of down payment.
5% goes into the escrow account. We manage that account, and that's used for families, their first month rent or deposit, or in the case of Rocio, so use some of the money to have it purchase a house.
I had to do my sweet equity, working in construction or restore for 100 hours. And I like it because before I have no idea. Now, I can do something by myself. Yeah, I don't have to pay. And I try to show the kids, working for their goals. I'm in sports, and I try to involve the kids in sports all the time. Like, I'm black belt in karate. Yeah, I'm black belt, so be careful. No, I'm kidding. In August 8, I make my citizenship test. I pass it, and I have my ceremony on September 28th.
Our goal is the home ownership piece, but she gave me a call and told me about the citizenship piece, so we get to celebrate those kind of things too. That's what I really like, is being able to connect with the families, as they're working through the program, but then take that partnership beyond. So that's really special and important to me.
So I always have goals, small, big goals, but I always have goals. I want to, okay, I done this, now what's the next? I done this, what's the next?
I grew up with my great grandma. She had me since I've been 4 years old. So it was like time for me to just like start doing everything on my own, because for her being sick and her having Alzheimer's and not able to remember stuff, and I came by myself. I have 2 kids. I've been in Des Moines over a year now. A year and a month.
I think her persistence and her hard work and the way that she always had a really positive attitude. She really liked the daycare, and she finally kind of I think, found stability for the first time, not only in a housing situation, but also for her children, and she was comfortable with the daycare.
Initially moving into the Lighthouse, there's a lot of demands.
There's all these requirements, and she was meeting everything and still doing the job searching piece. So it was just right away like this energy to go, 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 as well as a positive attitude about, instead of like shutting down or giving up.
Right now I'm doing parenting, LSI. It's recommended we do parenting here.
I think it takes a certain character to come in here. It's a voluntary program. You kind of go to maybe functioning in chaos to all of a sudden this like structure almost being imposed on you, and sometimes that's a really difficult transition.
Kia just hit the ground running with all of it, and there might be days where we'd get overwhelmed or frustrated, and we'd kind of process together, or we'd process with another staff member, and then the next day we would, Kia would get up and start all over again and hit it even harder the next day.
I mean, it was hard. Like when I first got here, it was like real, real hard because I was like trying to find a job, and I was like, oh no. But I kept going though, because like a lot of jobs on at nights, and I was like, well, I don't really want to do nights. I would rather prefer mornings with the kids. They go to in-home. I've been working since August the 13th. I love working.
So she learned about it learned about our program through Home Connection. I think a lot of organizations in Des Moines do really well with collaborating with one another.
It is not just the Home Connection, or it is not just Habitat. It's a range of network with all the other agencies. No one agency can do all the services for one family. And so it is in here within the community how the agencies are working together, doing network and helping families to achieve where they need to go.
My plans is to keep working. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go back to school. Unfortunately, I'm gonna start college, but just not right now. I'm just trying to save.
It's right away like this energy to go, 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 as well as a positive attitude about, instead of like shutting down or giving up.
Probably being a teacher or criminal justice. I be watching that show just to see like, oh, I know who did it. Yep, you did it. And I be right all the time, be like, oh yeah, I knew he did it.
I think really what's been great for us, it's easier for us as staff when you have a volunteer who can take that on and take that responsibility seriously. But it's also giving him something ownership of. And that's been really neat to see him take pride in that work. And so it's been a really mutually beneficial relationship.
There's so many beautiful people here that will help you. If as long as you ask, they give you so many chances, and they do such a good job. I don't think they get the credit they deserve, really. And around here, they show you appreciation. They give you kudos, or whatever you want to call it.
It's people that are in our communities that are having hard things, and people in communities will continue to have hard things happening. It's not that we're never going to have people that experience homelessness. It's just that in Des Moines we have those services that we can wrap around to benefit people. And it could be your brother, it could be your child. You just never know. That's the nature of mental health and substance abuse and addictions, and
Kalina. She is 6. She's Kalina. She's beautiful. She's tall. A that. She's very independent. Ever since she was about 2, she never let me do anything. At this point, what I see for myself in a year is to be completely self-sufficient, and I'm close, very, very close, but still a little rough at times. So just to be able to count on myself completely is one of my biggest goals.
It's a wonderful morning, but I don't feel like getting up. So I just turn around, face to the wall, and listen to the blood that pulses through the veins beneath my ears, as if anything made sense at all. I have never felt this sane before, although you won't believe me when I say I know now the answer to it all, and it is no. It's a wonderful night, but I don't feel like going out. There's no place like home, that's what they say. So I'm playing blackjack against my bitterness. The sucker always wins, and I gambled all my hopes away. But it has never been more clear than this, although you won't believe me when I say that I found the answer to it all, and it is no. It's a wonderful life, I know I am aware of that, and though I appreciate it all, and this isn't